We all have things in this life that are holding us back from being who we want to be, or holding us back from being successful in our lives. So that is why I'm really curious and really excited to get into how these celebrities have managed to push through their own mental health issues or problems, and they're now able to become so successful. This is why I'm really excited to get into this series. We can learn together how these celebrities have managed to overcome their mental health issues and still be successful. As we learn together, we can also then realize that we too can also push through whatever it is that we're going through and be successful too. Today we are going to be talking about Taraji P.Henson, and before we go into her anxiety and depression, I think it's good for me to give you a little background on her because her story is quite amazing. Taraji's first and middle names are both Swahili. This is something that I did not know. Her full name is actually Taraji Penda Henson. Taraji stands for hope and Penda stands for love. Taraji began a Hollywood career starring as a guest in some series and TV shows before she was actually able to make her breakthrough in the 2001 Baby Boy. I'm actually just gonna read a few of her movies that you may or may not know. I love Taraji. I've watched a bunch of movies with her in it. I love her. Some of these include The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I love that movie. The remake of The Karate Kid, Hustle and Flow, and the series that I think she is the most popular for right now is Empire, where she stars as Cookie. And fun fact about her role in Empire is that she actually became the first African-American woman to win a Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Actress in a drama series. That is really cool. Isn't it crazy that we're still getting like a bunch of firsts as Black people? You hear like, oh, this is the first Black woman to do this, and it's like, wow, we are still achieving firsts. It's not hard to tell that Taraji is a great actress because she has won so many awards. She has won the Golden Globe Award, she's won Emmy Awards, and in 2016 she actually had a memoir that she released which was titled Around the Way Girl. She was actually named one of the 100 most influential people in the world in the same year that she released that book. So Taraji has definitely got a lot of accomplishments. She's a great actress and a lot of people love her movies. I personally love her and I've been watching her ever since I was young. I remember her from The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So when I heard her start to speak about her anxiety and depression, I thought I really need to cover her story. I thought it would be great for us to dive into her past and just learn a little bit more about where Taraji came from and what she's been through in her life. Taraji has actually been through a lot of tragic life experiences. Her father was a vet and he was actually stationed in Vietnam. And I think we all know that most people who are in the army, they really have a tough time when they get out of the army. This is something that we're coming to learn more and more often as we start to study these people that have been in these wars. Taraji says that she thinks her father had really suffered from PTSD and bipolar disorder after he came back from the army. She came out and said that she recalls a moment when her father had kidnapped her from her mother. A report says that when Taraji was 4 years old, her father dragged her mother and was threatening to kill her. Apparently, the only thing that saved her mother that day was the quick thinking action of her sister, who ended up taking the keys out of the ignition. If it wasn't for her, she could have been dragged down the road, hanging out the side of the car. After this happened, Taraji's mother took her to hide out at her father's sister's house, basically her aunt, and they stayed there for a while because her mother thought that her father wouldn't be able to find them if they were staying there. But sadly, in less than a week, he was able to find them. He came to the house, he was pounding on the door and he was saying, Taraji, come see your father. And Taraji at that time, I guess she was just too young to understand all this, that she was actually scrambling to find the shoes to go and see her dad. But luckily, her father was not able to get through the door and get Taraji, and later on, her mother came and picked her up and they were able to run away again. This was a really traumatic event for her. I can only imagine at that age going through something like this. It must have been a lot, especially because she did look up to her dad. She adored him. But the good thing was that her father was actually able to straighten out over the years, and he actually became a huge support to Taraji. But at that time, she was already a young woman. Taraji graduated from high school in Maryland in 1988. She attended North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, where she intended to study electrical engineering, but she dropped out after failing a math class. After that, she then transferred to Howard University, where she studied drama. In order for her to pay for her college, she worked two jobs. In the mornings, she worked as a secretary at the Pentagon, and in the evenings, she worked as a singing and dancing waitress on a diner cruise ship, which was called the Spirit of Washington. When Taraji was 17 years old, she had a boyfriend, and she described their relationship to be turbulent. They had broken up, and then he went on to have two children with someone else. And then while she was at Howard University, they ended up reconciling and getting together. They ended up getting pregnant and having a child while she was studying at Howard University. Taraji says that when she was pregnant, Mark was supportive, but after giving birth, things became stressful. One night they had a big argument and then it turned physical. In her book, she says that the next thing I knew, Mark's balled up fist was coming straight for my face. I fell onto the bed crying and holding my mouth. Blood spared off my lips and across my teeth. Droplets splashed across my shoes, slowly creeping into the fibers of my sweat boots. Taraji screamed at him, "This is over. Get your shit and get out." Her father had encouraged them to reconcile, but she had decided not to stay in the relationship. With that separation, she had lost her first love. While she was raising her child by herself, Mark was completely out of the picture. Unfortunately, he was later killed after being violently beaten and stabbed after a confrontation over slashed tires. Although, just to clarify, his passing away did happen a couple of years after their child was born. After graduating, Taraji moved to LA, where she was able to get an office job and also land some roles on a couple of TV shows. In 2019, Taraji had an interview with People magazine where she talked about her struggle with depression and anxiety. From what I can tell, this seems to be one of the first times that she did come out and start to talk about her struggles with depression and anxiety. She said she was creating a foundation called the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation. She named this after her father because she does believe that he had bipolar disorder, and she aims to end the stigma and lower the growing rate of childhood suicides. The foundation, it works with schools so that they can provide a safe space for children to talk about their emotions, and they also help children to work through home situations by talking with therapists. Taraji really wants to help to break down the stigma of mental health in the Black community. I think this whole concept is just amazing because the things we go through when we are young, it really affects us when we get older. So the fact that she's targeting children and trying to stop this childhood trauma is just amazing. Taraji said that she was dealing with mood swings, heart palpitations, and feelings of helplessness. And about 2 years ago, she realized that she needed help. Unfortunately, in 2006, Taraji's father passed away from liver cancer, but she says that she feels that he would be proud of the work that she's doing in his name. And I think so too. More recently, Taraji has got a Facebook series called Peace of Mind. In this series, she recently came out saying that during the whole coronavirus thing, she actually contemplated suicide.
Drawing, people were calling me, I wasn't responding, I didn't care. Finally, I'm talking to one of my girlfriends, and I knew I was smart enough to say, I have to say it. Because a part of me was ashamed. I was like, I don't want them to think I'm crazy. I don't want them to, obsess over me or think they got to come and sit on me, because this one will. And so I was like, I don't want to be handicapped, and I feel weird. So one day I just blurted it out to my girlfriend. I just talked. She called me in the morning. I was like, I thought about killing myself like that. Oh my God, I feel so much better. Right. I'm not gonna do it now.
Taraji is, of course, in the entertainment industry, and during the whole coronavirus thing, during the first wave, a lot of people were not able to work, and she's definitely in those group of people that are not able to work from home. So this just added to everything and just made everything so much worse. She found herself struggling to get out of bed in the morning. And I think this is something that many people can relate to, whether you are a celebrity or just a normal person. A lot of us went through a horrible time during this whole pandemic thing. In a 2021 interview with Shape magazine, Taraji does say that she's feeling much better now. And I did read in one of her interviews that going to therapy and praying and working out is definitely helping her out. So yeah, that's basically it for Taraji and her whole story from what I could find. I know that this is definitely not her whole story. This is just what I could get from the little research that I did. And I hope that we can definitely take away something from Taraji's story. Being in university, becoming a mother, and then working 2 jobs to support your child. Like, she has been through a lot in her life and she has still come out on top. She's doing well. She's very successful. Her child is now all grown up. He's in his 20s. For those of us that are struggling with mental health issues, I think therapy is always a #1 way to go. But thankfully for many people that cannot afford therapy, shows like Peace of Mind that Taraji has can really help you to understand yourself and get to know some tips and tricks on how to manage your anxiety or your depression or whatever it is that you're going through, for you to manage it really well. On the show, she does have a psychologist there. I did watch a couple of episodes. There are many people that she brings on the show that we can all learn from. I saw Tamar Braxton there and a bunch of other celebrities. So yeah, please go and check out Taraji's show, Peace of Mind, and I'm sure you can learn a lot from her story and the stories of all the other people there. You can just learn from their life lessons and try to apply them in your life. Maybe it might work for you, maybe it won't, but maybe it can. Please make sure to leave a comment down below, like and subscribe. If there is another celebrity that you want me to cover, please leave a comment and we can cover it. What do you think about Taraji's story? Do you relate to anything that she is talking about? Alright, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye!